Let me see. I'm looking for your icon here. All right. So, episode 481. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the show radio. It's episode 481. I'm your host, Andrew.
Hi, I'm Danny.
And this is your source for tech gaming and entertainment news. Guys, definitely check us out, theshowradio.info. Listen, watch, hang out with us. Tonight is the last episode for 2018. I can't even believe we're here, but definitely check us out. Listen via Apple Podcast, Spotify, or on Alexa, as well as Google Podcasts, Radio Public, pretty much anywhere you can download and listen to podcasts. We are there. And glad to be back on the mic. It seems like it's been a while. There's different things going on behind the scenes that I'm excited about. We'll see what happens going into 2019. But aside from that, Daniela, what's going on?
Well, we started off December strong with the cold and the flu, so
You
that's
did.
that's where I've been dealing with. It was terrible. It went through twice. Each one of us got sick twice this month. It was terrible. I swear, if there was gonna be like a third round, I would have like, yep, I already quit 2018. I'm gonna sleep. Wake me up when 2019 starts. I'm
Nah, you
done
can't
with
do
being
that.
sick. But
You can't do that.
it was harsh. Wasn't gaming, wasn't streaming, wasn't really doing much, if anything. I was like just struggling just to get up to go to work.
But now you're finally taking a break, right? We're at break time, right?
Yeah, I got the next like 3 days off now.
Okay,
So
that's awesome.
I'm just enjoying that. I made a terrible mistake. Like today I realized I forgot to grab stocking stuffers. And I didn't
Okay.
want to do that tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna quickly go in, and worst decision ever. Quickly turned into like a 2-3 hour ordeal of like I just need to stop at one store. One. You
So
got
you went into town?
so many. Yeah, I went into Walmart because it's just pretty much stocking stuffers, which is snacks and candies. Like I don't know if I've ever seen like the shelves so barren and empty from Christmas snacks. Toys, yeah, like ornaments, sure, but like snacks, not so much. There's like barely anything, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, we're in the season. We're here.
But yeah, there was just so many people. It was so packed. I'm like, yep. I'm once I get home, I'm not leaving the house for the next 2 days. Not gonna deal with that craziness.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better because you've had an interesting 2 weeks.
Very, very interesting. It was like on top of being sick, I did have like this. I don't know. It was like one of those markers, life markers, in which I guess we can get really deep in down because I think it's part of my whole grieving process here. Is that during that time there was a car accident that I came across, and I was the first. I don't know what the proper term is.
First responder.
Responder, I guess it is. It feels
First
weird because when
responder.
I think of first responders, I think of the firemen and the police officers, and I think of that. But yeah, I was a first responder there. Other than the woman that hit this elderly pedestrian, which was really really rough. I did perform CPR, and I did the best that I could. And that was really really hard. Like I've been trained for CPR training ever since my son was born, and I never thought I would use it in a real life situation. Like it's always good to be prepared, but you never really think about the moment of, if that ever happens where you have to use it. Like I didn't know that I would be the type of person that'd be so quick to come to aid. Like I was always nervous, like thinking about it.
Why
Even
not?
I don't know, because I think it's the shock of it. Like just like you can always be so prepared for something, but then when it comes, like I think of like tests. Like when it comes to tests in school, I can study and do all this and know everything, but there are times where I'm a terrible test taker and I go blank. There was a time where my son, when he was like 2 or 3 or something like that, he had his very first chip, and it kind of got lodged a little bit. He wasn't choking, but you can tell he was struggling. Like this little chip was like stuck in his throat, and I freaked out and I panicked. Um, so when it comes to something that's like a life or death kind of thing, I just never knew like how I would respond, and I was actually shocked that I was like I didn't. It went so quickly that I didn't even realize that I was doing all of these things, everything that I trained for and prepared for. And yeah, the CPR training is for, it was like more geared towards work, but it's still the same training. I'm still certified. And they teach us for, adults, children, teenagers, and all the proper procedures on top of that. Um, but I was also like super angry over the whole ordeal. Like, after it all happened and I took in everything that I could remember, even though it was like a this quick moment, I was filled with anger. First it was guilt was first. It was like he didn't make it through. He did end up dying on the scene. He actually died while I was giving him CPR, and the firefighters really couldn't do anything. They tried the AED machines. They tried giving CPR. They waited out for the paramedics, and paramedics came, and they just called it on the spot. That was something that was very shocking to me, and I was felt with guilt of like, what could I have done that was more? What is like, did I do everything the best that I possibly could have? If it was my son that was laying there, would I have done more? If it was anybody that I knew personally, would I've done more? It was just that whole guilt thing. And then after the guilt, it was just like the anger, because there's just like, I guess I can't be upset at people who are just in shock, who doesn't know what to do, or if they know if they can do anything, they stay away. But it was more towards like there was somebody that in I remember I was in the middle of doing my compressions, and I look up because I was looking to see like if their firefighters were, or the paramedics or anybody that we called was closer in the vicinity. I was looking for lights because it was like dark. It was just before 6 a.m. Sun wasn't even up yet. But I remember this guy just parking across the street and just watching. And then later on, because the fire truck was in his way, he gets out of his car to stand on the other side to continue watching. And I just that entire process to me about what is going through this person's mind, like why do you just stand there to watch? Why do you stand there to just take pictures and video? Like, I was like so angry by that. And then I didn't have anybody to really I can talk to people. I can talk to you. I could talk to the family members, but it's like I was like, "Oh, I don't know what to say to you." Which I don't expect people to know. Like what do you say to somebody who's been through that? He's like, "Okay, I got your back." And I was appreciative of that, but I just kind of like, "All right, I'm going to hold it in." A week later, I had my annual CPR training. And I thought, I'm like, hey, I got this. I'll be all right. I felt all right starting it. And then I kind of broke down in the middle of the class. I had to take a step out and I had to take a breather. And the firefighter that was giving the CPR training, he heard that I was one of the first responders there. And he had to talk to me about it because they go through this, and it wasn't his like it wasn't like they've never experienced something like this. And he says that you got to find a way to be able to talk about it, to let that anger out, because it eats away at you. It eats away at everybody who has ever had to deal with this. And he was telling me about his very first person that he couldn't save, and it was a 7-year-old girl, and that ate away with him for years, and it still does. And he's like, but you got to find a way, because if you don't, it's just like, that's where you have those police officers or the firefighters or EMTs who, they turn to drinking to numb the pain. Or it's like, even if you have to find a way to make light of the situation or to joke in some way, to just let it out, as long as you're letting it out. And it was so incredibly uplifting. Like, it took so much off of my heart and my shoulder to be able to talk to somebody who has gone through that, and just have someone to share it with. So like that was the huge thing. And he's like, to be honest, he was very frank about things. He's, to be honest, it's like it might be years before you're okay, but as long as you're not just holding it in. That was my December.
Yeah, I
Super
mean,
deep.
just based on super deep, based on how you started your experience, you did the best that you could, right? And and finding a place to be okay with that is a good spot to be in, you know. So yeah, so I'm proud of you, you know. And the part when you mentioned that being in a CPR class, you know, kind of gave you like a rewind of some of the moments. It's you're a human being. I mean, that's to be expected. And to find somebody who was able to share, to really take the load off of that experience for you is that's definitely a dope thing. So yeah, you look better.
I feel better.
That's
I'm
good.
not coughing and hacking up like the deep bowels of phlegm.
That's good. That's good. So as long as that going into these next couple of days, and you can enjoy that time with your family and just relax, and that's definitely a dope spot.
Oh yeah,
Um,
now I'm personally torturing my family.
you're personally torturing your family.
Yeah, I I do you like taking Santa photos or
Um,
holiday photos?
I
Really?
don't, not really. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't do. I'm not sitting on anybody's lap. Not doing that.
Okay, so it's like probably one of the best things that I look forward to is just the holiday pictures. And usually I'll do some at home in front of our Christmas tree, but because we were all sick, it didn't happen. It's like something I skip out on. But we
Right.
always go to our local mall and we take photos with Santa. I have been doing that since I moved here when I was 16. And I'm so excited every year. And the rest of my family is like, really? Do I
All right. So
have
why
to
are you
do
excited
this?
about that? Talk to me. Talk to me about that process. So since you were 16, you said.
Yeah.
So what's that process that you prepare to say, hey, okay, we're gonna do these pictures. What is it about that for you that gets you going?
I think it's because I didn't really do that as a kid. Like, I think in total I have two photos as a kid that we took with Santa. And growing up, my mom didn't really have any holiday traditions. Our extended family did, but my immediate family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, my stepdad, we didn't have anything. We didn't do anything. It didn't feel like a holiday so much. Like we had a tree and we
Right.
had presents, but that's kind of it. That's I don't even know if that's the bare minimum.
Right. Right.
So when it comes for me and like having my son, I think it's super exciting and I like that fact of having something that's a tradition, even though it's like a very quick 5 minute photo with Santa that only I am beaming with happiness in the photo.
Right.
And I'm like, look, I asked for one thing, and that's just these Christmas photos. That's it. Please do this for me. And they do.
So
They're
you
not
took
happy
them. You
about
took
it.
it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, we did it last night. We did it last
Oh,
night.
okay.
I had my sister come with us. We were supposed to do it earlier, but we were just all too sick to get that done.
How's
And we
she
had to go
doing?
take. She's doing good.
Okay.
She was not happy about Santa photos either, but she's not a really super Christmassy person.
Okay.
um yeah, we got that done and I was excited. And it's funny because every year my son says, I don't want to sit on Santa's lap. And I'm telling him, you don't have to sit on Santa's lap. And then somehow, when he get up right up into Santa, he's like, all right, which knee? I'm like,
No.
I'm like, I thought you didn't say you didn't want to sit on Santa's lap. I told you you didn't have to. And here you are. I'm like, I'm not forcing you to. But, you
No.
know, there he is. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we went out
seeing
and had a nice dinner, and that was kind of it. I'm just super excited.
that's cool. That's cool. Getting your rest, right? Yes.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. So holidays are here. So we're here. We're in the mix. We're in the mix of the holidays. I still feel like I'm in grind mode in some way, shape, or form. And I know you're not really feeling that right now. Like there's things that I'm still thinking about and executing on and those things. But yeah, I have to chill. I have to chill a little bit. So my NAS is built. I don't know if we got a chance to talk about that. Uh, buddy of mine, Joey, shout outs to him. He built my NAS. It's a 8 terabyte, 12 gigs of RAM NAS tower unit. So that's going to come in handy for a lot of data, storing things and that kind of stuff. So it's not set up yet. So I definitely want to take some screenshots and stuff when it's up. I'll probably post that on Discord. So definitely hit the Discord, theshowradio.info/Discord and hang out with us in there. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I had a conversation with Joey that we recorded, got the video, the audio for that as well. So I'm going to cut that up and I'll put that out very, very soon, either by the new year or just before that. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
You can tell the whole difference of holiday seasons because you're all bundled up and warm and cozy, and I'm like, it is hot over here, and it takes.
Yeah, it's listen, I don't even know what it is outside right now. It was maybe 50 or yeah, it was a little cool today. It's the wind. The wind really does it. But between like 38, no, actually between like 50, I'm okay. But when it gets anything below 50 in the winter, then I'm like, oh, come on, you know. But yeah, a little bundled up here trying to stay warm.
And I'm over here, got the fan going, got the windows open because it's hot,
Yeah,
and I want the wind.
that's crazy. So yeah, so a couple of things. I think I wanted to switch up how we did the show a little bit heading into 2019. More questions than anything else because I think that it's easy to report on the news that we see often enough, right? So I figured for I guess starting right now as I think about it heading into 2019, definitely want to ask questions about things that we're seeing, right? So there's a lot of games that we've seen throughout the year. We're also going to talk about year in review later on, as far as that is concerned, as well as game of the year and even lessons that we've learned throughout the year. So that's later. But right now, really, one of the things that I saw that was neat was the soccer thing, the Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. There's a light version, so that's the thing. So if I downloaded it, I installed it, so I'm gonna definitely check that out, and it's free because I love free, right? So there's that. So outside of that, everything else on this show is really just some questions to ponder. The first one being as far as the Uncharted movie is concerned. So I want to hear your thoughts about that. Um, it doesn't seem. Will the movie ever happen? Like they've been losing and adding different individuals for the last, I would say, maybe 2 years plus, however long. And it seems like there's always a particular challenge with keeping the roster for the production or direction of this supposed film. And how should this film be made? Should it be an episodic thing? Should it be just one movie to encapsulate everything that we've known about Uncharted, the series? So yeah, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that because it's interesting that this is still a thing.
It'll happen eventually. I don't feel like they're gonna shelf this thing because there is definitely an audience that wants to see this happen. They want to see this be made. I'm just kind of amazed that they're having, I guess, so many setbacks.
Right.
But yeah, no doubt. It might take a few years. I don't see why. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't see why they would shelve it to miss that audience, to miss that money.
I'm worried about it.
But what? Okay, what really makes you worry about it, other than the little setbacks that they have?
Because my thing is, in this stage of the game, like even based on the recent fan film that we saw,
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather see an episodic version of the Uncharted thing than an actual movie, right? I would love to see like like we saw Daredevil and different things that even though we're upset that they're gone or whatever the case might be, or but that format is great because you can tell different stories within those that 45-minute window instead of just having one movie and then just go from there. You know what I mean? So when you see stuff like even the Punisher, as we're waiting for season two, right? That's on the horizon. I believe there. It sounds like they're shooting for first quarter of 2019, but so I'm excited about that, right? Where you see, or even Blacklist. Every episode of Blacklist is its own entity, but connected to every other um, episode before it, right? Or every season before it, as the story continues to unfold. So there's always a character, a villain that they're going to go after. And once they go after that particular individual, sooner or later we may hear about that individual again and how that villain ties into the story. So if they did something like that with the different characters of Uncharted, I think it's doable. Maybe a different setting, or a different environment or something like that. One season will be going for a particular treasure from episode 1 to 13, and then the second season would be another setting, with other characters that we're familiar with, like the ladies from Lost Legacy, right? Or Nathan Drake, or um, I can't think of Sully, which is another major character, and some of the enemies. So I think that there's different ways that it can be thought out, and I think that if it takes if it takes feedback from social for input, if you got to do what you got to do, right? Because there's a lot of companies that have taken feedback from social in 2018 and have proven better for them. Specifically, I'm thinking about Bungie. That worked out for them, and for the most part. So I'm concerned.
I'm gonna be the optimist here. I think it'll be okay.
Okay, fair enough. That's the first thing on the docket. Next thing is Men in Black. Another one.
At first when I heard about that there was gonna be another one, I didn't know how to feel about it. Like it felt weird, but you know what? Even though literally just watched a trailer just before we started recording this for the first time, um, I like it. I really, really like it. I'm not upset that there's, no Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith. I kind of like this little new cast that they got going on, the direction, the whole international. I think that's cool.
Right. It's always been a comedy, right? As far as I can
Mm-hmm.
remember. Um, I think it's neat, but do we need another one? I don't know.
No, we probably don't, but I can say that about Fast and the Furious. Do we need another
Whoa,
one?
whoa, whoa, whoa. We always need another one of
No,
those.
we don't.
If it's dealing with some cars, yeah, we need another one. We need another one. No, it was neat. It was neat to see it. I mean, realistically and honestly, seeing Thor, in that environment was really dope, and it's not surprising because those movies tend to be really fun, and I'm easily entertained as it relates to some of those films. Like even a film I recently saw the trailer for. I think it's Keanu Reeves movie, Replicas. That looks interesting. Um, I don't want to spoil it, but basically there was an accident that took place. I think that's something that they shown where his family passed and he decided to take matters into his own hands. Um, and I'll just leave it there. But it looks really, really good. It looks really, really good. So I think that I'm easily entertained when it comes to films like that. So Men in Black, I'll watch it later. It probably won't do the movie scene. I barely do the movie scene anyway, so I'll just wait till it comes to the home theater and I'll check it out that way. Um, but so yeah, so that's any other thoughts on that?
Um, Tessa Thompson, who's playing Agent M, she's definitely becoming like one of my new favorite female actresses. Like I like she showed up first in Thor Ragnarok. I think that's the first time I've actually seen her on screen. And now to see her in this one, I dig it. I like it. And I kind of like the chemistry that Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson have on screen to begin with. So I'm glad they're doing another movie outside of like the whole Marvel universe that has a whole other different flavor and fun comedy to it.
Word. Yeah, that's cool. I'll wait. I'll wait. I tend to wait. So once it hits home theaters, I'll definitely check that out. So I don't know what this whole situation is with. Okay, so as I was saying before, as it relates to the internet giving you their thoughts on your particular product or your particular brand, in turns makes the product different and the rollout different, and what companies originally thought of as far as how they were going to release that particular product or DLC and stuff like that. But it seems like it's great that we have the internet. It's great that we have the trolls and the individuals that are out there. But how much stock should a company take in those opinions as it relates to what they should do and which direction they should go? I know I kind of briefly mentioned the Bungie thing not too long ago, but even with the recent thing that happened with I believe it was Spider-Man and the DLC stuff, should internet rants really sway the content releases? Like what are your thoughts on that?
Yes and no. I think studios and companies should listen to what the general population says. I don't feel okay. I don't feel that companies should go and make quick changes because some really popular, actor or gamer or anything like that has something. But if majority of your core audience that's playing your game feels a certain way and they're voicing their opinions about something, I think there should be some heavy consideration into changes. But it's like a fine balance because if you put too much emphasis about what your core audience wants and you're changing the core of what your studio wanted it to be, like it's a never ending battle because people on the internet, they're never going to be fully happy. If it's one thing, you fix that one thing, it's going to be another and another and another, and it's just a downward spiral. There has to be a cutoff. There has to be some weighing about, okay, are these concerns valid concerns? Does it improve the overall value of our game? Then yes, put it in. But if it's something just minor, I don't think so.
Mm. It's interesting because even the major one that I saw that was a craze was not necessarily the DLC for the Spider-Man thing. It was really Bungie because I was watching that closer because that came in with the challenge of trying to grind to push the progress bar forward, and it seems like the more you grinded, the slower it was, and the data miners went into that system and saw that it wasn't benefiting the user, but it was benefiting the actual developer. So when people rant and took screenshots and did the math on that, then Bungie decided, hey, we're going to be a little bit more transparent about what we're doing with our systems, show that a little bit more, as well as how we intend to do our rollouts for different things that are going to come out. And then that shifted some of the changes that we started seeing with Bungie to what we're seeing now with the rollout of the this pass that's going to last from now until August, and those things. And then the Spider-Man thing, I was online a couple of times, and people were talking about, this particular suit that people really, really wanted, and people were started complaining about, not having the suit. That suit should be like a must have. It should already be in the system. It should be part of the rollout. And a lot of individuals really don't realize how much work it takes to even get to that point. If there's licensing involved with the particular content that you're requesting, as well as how long it's going to take to process all those, if contracts are involved, to get to the part where they can actually okay it for you to receive it as a DLC, for you to stop complaining, right? So there's all those things, that takes place. So I think it's interesting. Now, even when we're thinking about, I guess let's talk about Fallout 76 for a second, because that in and of itself is
Terrible.
it's crazy, right?
It was, and I think this is a very valid case in which the studio should very, very heavily put into consideration about what is being said, because across the board, people were upset and disappointed by everything this game promised to be, and it's so buggy, so buggy, so much problemful. I haven't been able to return to it, but that I see them struggling to like try to get ahead and fix what they screwed up on.
Hmm.
And they are definitely most certainly struggling, and now like they're offering that anyone who logs in for Fallout 76, they get the whole Fallout Classic collection on PC. And well, I think that applies for the console versions too. So they're trying to give out free content, but I mean, do people really want the free
Yeah,
content
what
for
does
their
that
older
mean?
titles?
Yeah, what does that mean though? Have we forgiven them for what we're seeing now? I mean, what does that mean in essence?
I don't think it's forgiven. I think it's just trying to get people to like, we're sorry. I don't think it's forgiven. I personally feel that people are still upset.
Right.
But I will say, I think somebody has to double check me and fact check me on this one, considering I've been sick for most of December. I think so far December has been the quietest of issues so far since their release.
For Fallout 76?
Yeah, for Fallout 76, because I don't think, like, since their release, almost, I feel like at least once a week there was something that was wrong, or something that they were being called out on, or something that they had to fix, or something that happened that went wrong. I think so far, 3 weeks into December, I don't think I've heard anything negative so far. So it's either A, they fixed all their problems, or B, like, people just stop playing their game.
Right.
One of the
Right.
two.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. So when was the last time you logged into it
Probably the
or
ending of
anything?
November, probably around like Thanksgiving, I think.
Okay, and I'm sure there's been updates since. Do you plan to look at it at all before 2019?
I don't know about but before 2019. I got some other games I want to play, but I mean, I haven't fully given up on the game. I'm
Okay.
taking the approach of like, I'm going to give you some time, and then hopefully when I jump back on, I'll download all these massive patches that you'll have, and it will be the game that I wanted to play.
Yeah, I mean, based on that, the whole trying to fix it, announcing on Twitter to get this, old collection package and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if they decide to take a break from Fallout and focus on some other thing. Kind of like the studio break that Call of Duty did a while ago, separating him into like, every other studio will do a game this year or whatever, that kind of a thing. If they're able to do that, but they have other, properties that could easily fill in the gaps while they fix Fallout,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
But if I remember correctly, I even think like on the previous Fallout titles, um, it wasn't the smoothest. I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad as 76, but they've had some bugs that they've had to work out before in their games,
Yeah,
and
save issues and stuff.
yeah, and people
Right.
complained about it then. But once all was said and done, and it was fixed and patched, everybody loved the game. Everybody has really high remarks about how much they enjoyed it. So I'm kind of hoping that somewhere down the line that would be the same thing for Fallout 76. Although that shouldn't be an excuse to release a game that was not ready for it. Obviously, that's not an excuse for it. But people paid for it. I mean, you can't just ignore it. You have to give the people what they were hoping for and they want to play and enjoy.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about like some of the legal cases that we've been hearing about. Right, it's been on and off for the last couple of months, maybe more. Okay, just being modest with that particular time frame. Now, are the legal cases that are um, related to the dance emotes, are they getting out of hand? Because you got the Carlton is suing. I think
The Backpack Kid
Backpack
is
Kid is
suing.
suing. Yeah. So like, are we gonna be seeing more of that heading into 2019? Like, can you actually sue for a dance like that?
Maybe. I don't I feel like in a way
Because you play
you can.
Fortnite more than I do, so you've seen all the different dances.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and Epic's making tons of money off of that.
right, and the jerseys and the different things and all that.
They really are. But suing off of a dance that is not copyrighted, that's definitely I think a very new venture because it's not like emotes are a new thing.
Right.
Emotes have been in video games for so long. However, having emotes that were tailored to specific well-known dances or dance moves, that's a whole new different thing. That's uncharted territory there.
So what's interesting about the whole thing is why am I only hearing like why are we only hearing Fortnite? Because Destiny has emotes.
Does Destiny have emotes based off of like
There's different
well-known dances?
ones. There's different dances. I think there's the chicken noodle soup with the soda on the side dance in
What?
that game. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go and look up this chicken noodle dance with a soda on the side. I don't know what that dance is.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you
that's
do you
an
care to showcase this dance?
absolutely not. But I'm sure a YouTube video can help you.
um,
But I think
do you buy the
yeah, I think
emotes? Do you buy the emotes in the game with actual real currency?
I think you could, but you can get them as drops.
And maybe that's
So
what the
there's
difference is the fact
okay.
that Fortnite is purposely selling these emotes. Like
Right.
there's some emotes that you can get that you earn in game through the battle pass. But I don't I got to go back and check. I don't think any of those dances that you earn are any of the dances that are of concern that people are being sued for. I think those are actually that you buy those. And I
Right.
think that's a difference. That's a huge
You can get
difference.
drops. You can get drops for most of the stuff that if I really want a ghost, then you can grab the ghost with the in-game currency, and there's things that you can use to try to get stuff faster with actual money. But I haven't really paid for anything as it relates to Destiny as far as emotes and stuff like that. I usually just wait for it to drop. But if there's a ghost that has particular elements that I need, whether it's XP gains or something that's like a omni, you know, perk on that particular item, and I want it right away, then I'm willing to spend the in-game currency to get it faster. But sooner or later, it's going to drop. But I don't want to wait, and it's getting ready to reset for the following week because they're going to have new items and with that particular vendor. So yeah, it's just one of those things that you have to decide how you want to do it.
Yeah, I think the fact that you have those options to just not buy that they come into drops makes a huge difference. It's kind of I think it's still a morally gray zone. I'm not even sure because I don't I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all these copyright laws. But when you go and you buy licenses, like one of my purchases today was from Video Hive, and they're for transitions and video effects to be used in Adobe Photoshop. They give you two options. You have like the regular license, in which you're creating a product that you're not selling. You can use all of these special effects and presets, um, but you're using it for personal use. You're not using it for personal gain. You're not using it to sell for as an end product, and it's one set price. And then they have an extended license in which you are producing content that is going to be sold to another end user. Um, if I go for the regular one and they find out that I'm actually selling whatever it is, whatever video editing that I'm doing for other people, and I'm using these people's transitions, they of course they have the right to sue me for using their products, and it's only supposed to be for me and only me, and not to be used for me to make money. I think that's kind of how it falls into. It's just like, hey, you're taking something that I created. That's cool that you put it in your game, but you're making money off of something that I created without getting a license from me, without talking to me, without any considerations to me. And I think if maybe that it was a free item, that it wouldn't be a concern. It wouldn't be any of these things. And I think with 2 Milli, because he started it all. He's been bringing this up, like, I think he's been the major contributor of bringing this up as a concern almost all year long. And now he's officially, brought up a case. He's going to be suing them. It's become this actual official legal matter. That now it's just like, okay, so you have Carlton, which I can't remember his name, Alfonso Ribisi. I'm probably butchering his name. Um,
Ramiero, I think something
Romero.
like that.
Okay, I don't know where Ribisi came from. I have no idea. Starts with R. But Carlton over there and the Backpack Kid, I feel like now it's like, oh, we can get some money off of this. Now I feel like it's just a money grab when it comes to anybody that's coming after. It's either that, or maybe 2 Milli, his lawyers, his team is like, hey, if we have enough people who feel the same way, we can make a change. If it's just one person going against this, studio, it's making all this money, it's doesn't have as much of, I guess, a threat. But if you have two, three, four other people, it can make a huge difference. But at the same time, it also gives a feeling that it is just a money grab.
Yeah, I mean, I may be remembering this incorrectly, but that big Hulk Hogan case and suit against that website.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that one was crazy. I guess there was some information that was put out by this particular website that they didn't have either rights or a particular thing to put out for. And Hulk Hogan sued them and pretty much like won a whole bunch of money. Hulk Hogan case. I'm trying to remember if I could pull that up real quick. Yeah, it was Bolia versus Gawker, the website. Gawker and Hulk Hogan reached 31 million settlement. It was, yeah, that was
Oh,
New
is
York
that it?
Times. Yeah, that's it. There's only a couple of pennies, right? Couple of pennies. November 2nd, 2016, New York Times. Yeah, that was a big case too when it comes to, dealing with information and stuff like that. So that was crazy. But anyway, so yeah, so you have that whole stuff with the case. So so talk to me about your recent purchase, Daniela.
Oh, I got a
Yes,
Switch.
you did. Yes, you did.
I
You
finally
sure
got a
did.
Switch. I finally got a Switch.
So what
Um,
happened? Set the scene. What happened? How did that come up?
it was a Christmas gift from my boyfriend. He just kind of casually walked into GameStop. He's like, "We can get you a Switch." I was like, "Ah."
Nice. What'd you get with it?
I got Smash Brothers. Let's Go Eevee and Harvest Moon.
Okay, sweet, sweet,
So
sweet. So your experiences thus far, like light impressions. What do you think?
I like it. I do. But it's funny because it
I
is
think
a
you held
home.
back on that. I think you held back on that. Like there's a reservation there. I felt the reservation on you liking it.
Because it has like there's two parts to it. So I don't technically like it as a console. Like it does not feel like a console to me at all. I know it's supposed to be, but the fact that it's so portable and it's just easy to kind of take along with me, it definitely feels more like a handheld than, than it belonging on my shelf or my desk like my Xbox or my PlayStation. Like it feels out of place because even the docking station so that I can hook it up to my TV, that just makes me feel like, okay, this is my portable charger. I mean, it's not so portable to bring that part, but it doesn't speak to me as your traditional console whatsoever. Like
Okay.
I
Any
I have yet
accessories?
I have yet to actually hook it up to my TV. Let's put it that way. Um no real accessories. I got the standard case to carry it around in, and that case came with attachable handles so that it's easier to hold on to and grip. Um, the Let's Go Eevee that I got has the Pokeball Plus with it, and that's kind of it. That's all I have. I mean, I didn't go the extra mile for anything else, anything crazy. That was already an expensive purchase. um, but yeah, I like it. But I like it as a a handheld. I don't like it as a console. Like it feels really weird and really foreign.
Okay.
Later on, eventually, I'll probably get some actual controllers because the little Joy Cons, like, there's such a games where you can just use it one handed. But like, if you're playing Smash with it, if you want to play Smash with other people and you're bringing it along, it is so painful to play on that tiny little thing. So painful. Like, the Pro controller is really nice, but it's like $70 for the actual true wireless ones. There is like third market. Um, Forgot the name of the brand, but they're like $25, but they're all wired. Um,
So you can
yeah.
use other controls. Can you use an adapter to make a one controller another controller, maybe a PlayStation controller into a Nintendo controller, or do
I
they
have
still do
no
those?
idea. I have no
Okay.
idea. But speaking of Nintendo controller, I saw that somebody posted that there are these Joy-Cons that look like NES controllers that you can buy. I think they're for pre-order. I think they're for pre-order for this month they release. They look nice. They're a little bit bigger than the Joy-Cons though. But
Okay.
they're cute.
So very, very cool. Congratulations on that. So I did see something recently. So Soldier Boy, from what I understand, is planning to invest into an esports team or a franchise or something like that. That was a quick news bit that I saw. But also, he has a handheld system out. Would you would you pay for a Soldier Boy handheld system?
Hard no.
Be-
There's no
Why not?
way. There's no
Why
way that
not?
I'm gonna be convinced on that one. And hi
Why
Ruru,
not?
happy
Did you
holidays
see
to
it?
you.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
see it?
did. That thing looks so cheesy. Like,
What's up, Ruru? How you
no.
feel?
No, I would not. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. You know what I would be convinced that would be for? If they decided to like what was that silly handheld pocket game that only played Joe Madden's like football or something like that. I forgot what it was. But
I
like
don't know.
that's what it looks like to me. Like it would be for one of those old school handheld games where you only played one game and one game only. Like they had several. They had like the football one. They
It
had the one
doesn't
for
even
Little
tell you
Mermaid Ariel.
what it plays.
It looks good. And for $160? No.
Yeah.
Hard
It,
no.
it doesn't even tell you what it plays. But there's some other things on here. Some earbuds, some soldier pods. You're not interested. I could tell by
3,000 built-in games. No.
I could tell by your silence that you're not interested.
I am not convinced. Nope. Not handling it. Somebody wants to gift it to me and review it. Sure, I'll probably send it back to you.
Yeah, right. It's an interesting thing. So I did see that. Okay, so next thing I did also check out. How do we feel about a new the new Evil Ryu and Street Fighter Five? I know the trailer was recently shown and it's available on the webs. How do we feel about the new Evil Ryu for Street Fighter Five?
No, I think I offended my boyfriend just before I recorded this because I saw this on your notes and I'm like, there's an Evil Ryu Street Fighter 5 that released? He's like, yeah, I was streaming it the other day. You were watching it. I'm like, I don't remember. He had the long thing. He was red. I was like, no, I don't
You don't
remember ever
remember.
seeing it at all. He was so disappointed. He's like, but you had my stream up. I wasn't watching.
Mm.
So I don't know how I feel about it. There you go.
Okay, fair enough. It's for me. I always remembered Evil Ryu. I don't remember having the horns on the character. I'm a little turned off by the design from what I've remember seeing over the years as far as Evil Ryu is concerned. So I appreciate the moves. I appreciate the new moves and all the different things that he can do, even though I don't play Street Fighter Five as much as I used to. But in terms of the way they designed the character, I'm I'm not fully in. I'm not fully bought in with that design. So that's all I have with that. In terms of Ryu as a character, always love Ryu as a character. Is one of my favorite characters to use. Ken, of course, Akuma. I was okay with Akuma, the design of Akuma. Um, but outside of that, I think I'll just let that rest there. I'm still on the fence with the new design. Yeah, we're definitely talking about Cage. I'm on the fence on the new design for the character, but I definitely appreciate the most. So I'll say that. So that's all I have there. Okay, so in addition to that, there was another piece of news that was mentioned that season passes may be a thing of the past as it relates to Street Fighter Five, and that was recent news as well. Uh, One of the things I did see here, let me see if I can go to it. Cage can only be purchased individually with fight money or real currency. We currently have no plans to offer a season pass for the 2019 DLC character. Stay tuned for information on future updates. This was on the Street Fighter Twitter timeline. That was December 19th. 2018. So I find that interesting because for ever since I can remember with Street Fighter Five, everything was a particular pass for the characters, and maybe a little bit before Street Fighter Five as well. That was a thing, and it seems like the rollout for different add-ons for games are changing, right? So I want to hear your thoughts on that. But what have you seen also in other games as it relates to this?
Okay, well, I can't really. I have not been paying attention to anything that's happening with Street Fighter Five. And yeah, Ruru. I didn't want to cut off Andrew, but it is Kage, not Cage. Kage. Looking at it, I would know. I would see it as Kage. The name, because also Japanese. Okay, but I can add input about just season passes overall for just games. I personally think that I can't keep up. I can't keep up with how season passes have been working because I feel like they have been changing over the years. Like I feel that there's no set like deadline anymore because like you said, like even like certain things are just kind of being released because of complaints from the community, or they'll do things or change things, or if like Fallout 76, it's like a huge discount to go and buy it after the fact. I almost kind of feel that it really shouldn't be a thing anymore. Only because I don't know. It's when it comes to certain games that I want to play, it doesn't ever feel like it comes out as it should or when it should. I even feel like even those DLCs have delays, kind of like their main game did already did, the base game. So there's got to be some weird balance in between actually buying the DLC separately.
Mm.
I don't know how to articulate this better.
It's an interesting thing. Like even and since Destiny is the game that I spend most of the time playing, even their rollout of this pass that's going to cover the next couple of months from now until August, as I was mentioning earlier, some of the things that I wanted to do as far as the new Forge, which is the season of the Forge and those things, I wasn't able to access. I wouldn't be able to access those activities unless I paid the $34.99. That would take me all the way until August for everything that they have planned for the next couple of months, right? So you have that. So I cover content that's always going to be steady. There's going to be a steady rollout for me throughout the next couple of months. I'm excited for the things that are going to be there. And they're making sure that some things are not necessarily locked behind a paywall, but you can still level up your character to whatever the max is, which is right now 650. But even if I'm leveling up, there's certain activities that I won't be able to do unless I pay the 34.99, which is what, $10 for every, not necessarily every quarter, but it turns out to be somewhere around $10 to $11 for every couple of weeks as you get to August, right? So you have that. Then you have a lot of DLCs are dropping for free. You have the Division, from what I understand, most of their content is going to be free because they already locked in the fact that the game is going to be dope. You're going to play it. We're going to give you a lot of content up front. So there's a lot of companies that are really changing the strategy as it relates to the season pass that we've known for the last couple of years, right? It's been a thing. It's been a thing for PC for a while. It's been a thing for the consoles for a while as well. So it's like as those things change, and of course the free to play model has been here for a while as well, as far as Fortnite is concerned, which is available. And if there's, we were talking about that before, there's a lot of stuff that you can pay for, but they're really just they're really optional. But the way they have it in the game, it makes you really want to buy it, right? for the particular character and those things. So it's interesting to see how companies are changing how they're making money by offering a lot of stuff for free upfront.
Maybe I'm just starting to be cheap about it.
I
About not
mean,
really
yeah,
caring
because
so
there's
much
a lot of
about
free
the season
stuff.
passes. Because I used to be the type of person that just like, I really like the season passes. I used to buy them, and gosh, it gets to a point where if I'm playing too many games, I forget about the older games that have a season pass because, like, oh, okay, I did all the content, I did all this stuff. I guess I'll wait till the next one comes out. And in between that time period, I kind of forget about it. Like Gears is definitely one of them. So I have the season pass for it, and it was until we started playing some Horde a couple weeks ago, and we're like, oh wow, this map came out. Oh, this map came out. And I completely forgot about it. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad that I have the season pass for this. And it's like a
Right,
surprise.
exactly.
But it's also like if I forgot about it and it wasn't affecting me, like in a way that's also money lost that I didn't have to spend because I was focused playing other games.
Right. So you're paying for something that you may not use.
Mm-hmm.
So the package deal, according to Rue, I've never bought a season pass. How are they different than expansions or subscriptions? Right.
It's
So
like
so
buying
DLC, go
them
ahead.
ahead of time. So it's like season passes, it's like instead of buying the DLCs individually, you're committing to just buy them all in one bulk for
Right.
a cheaper price.
Right.
And it's
And
not
there's
there's no
benefits to that.
subscription to it. Yeah, there are benefits.
There are benefits to that. If you're in that world, if and you love everything that this particular company is putting out for the downloadable content, then you pay for it. It's yeah, it's at a discount unless you want to pay. Like even with you were talking about the subscriptions when you mentioned the subscriptions. If I pay for uh PlayStation Plus, that's 59.99. If you pay monthly, that's 120, isn't it? Because you're paying $10 a month.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, so you're getting discount for sure. And the DLCs, if you pay just for a piece of it and not as the collective whole, you're paying way more than you'd want to pay. So if you're buying each character, whether it's Kage or any other character that's going to be coming up by themselves versus the season pass for the characters, you're paying more. And that's the deal there, the bargain for that. So
You're
so that's
also
always
it's
go ahead.
cheaper, but you're also like pretty much committing that money for a game that like you have to be sure 100% to get the most out of your money. You have to be sure that forever long this content's going to be, it could be coming out over the next year, that it's something that you want to play for that entirety of the year and that you will love to come back to at any point in that year to play whatever new content that comes out. Um, I can tell you, I think I have the season pass for Ghost Recon Wildlands. I have not gone back to play any of them,
Right.
so that was a waste of money. I have the season pass stuff for Tekken 7. Again, have not gone back to play or see whatever it is that's happening over there. And that's bad on my part. It really is. But it's great if it is a game that you love time and time again and you're going to return to it
Absolutely.
no matter what. 100% season passes are so worth it. But you have to know yourself well enough to be like, yeah, I can see myself playing this in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years from now. Um,
Right. It's really easy. It's really easy for me because there's only one game I really play throughout the entire year, right? And it's like no matter what, I just need to be able to go online and play it as well as play the new stuff that comes out. So because it's one game, I'm not really spending, $60 a pop for every new game every quarter, right? So that makes it really easy for me. Versus the free stuff that's available, like Paladins is one of the dopest games for me that I enjoy playing. That's like the Overwatch type game, right? What do you call those games? There's a what do you call those games? There's a term for them. I can't think of it right now.
Don't know.
Yeah, and animated shooters is something.
Arena
Arena shooters.
shooter.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Arena shooters. Thank you. Yeah. So I think it's one of the dopest arena shooters, Paladins, right? And if I wanted to buy the character pack for it to invest in all the characters instead of just trying to unlock, characters at a time, they usually have a sale for the character pack, which is either half off or 25% off. If I really love it that much, and I do, I'm sure I'm going to end up buying it sooner or later, right? So there's that. But there's outside of that, Paladins, it's what Destiny, barely Fortnite. That's free to play, right? I can play that and just look at it. Blackout, I have that, but I haven't really invested any of the DLC that has come out since the new Call of Duty has been out. So what does that mean, really? Right? I just know where I'm going to spend my time. So it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, that's what's up with that. That is what's up with that. Okay, so career paths of devs, right? We see devs mentioning, hey, I think I'm going to go into this career path. It's going to be exciting for me. Cross your fingers. Wait till I make this announcement and stuff like that. Are we really concerned about? I have to be careful as I ask this question because it's not like we don't care that people are going to have different opportunities. That's not what I'm asking here. But are we really concerned about the announcement of a new career path? So I had to set it up that way. What are your thoughts on that?
I see it as not so much bragging as it is like I think it's cool that a dev sees that their Twitter following is kind of like an extended friend in a way. Because even like I've had moments of something exciting that's coming up. I'm like, okay, there's something really cool that I can't talk about it yet, but I need to let it out somehow, and hopefully it goes well. Like I don't think that's really bragging. I think it's just somebody wanting to celebrate. Like this might be a thing for me, and you guys have been so supportive about what I've done so far. Here's some transparency and letting you into my life a little bit. I didn't see anything bad with it at all.
Okay.
Because
All
if
right.
he
So
was just average
specifically,
Joe saying it, that's how I take it. That's how I picture Cliffy B over here, just average Joe. Well, because
right.
I've had other friends that are devs that some of them have sadly gone through the heartbreak of having their studios closed down,
Mm,
and they didn't immediately have a job available to them, and they're just kind of in limbo trying to figure out and applying to all these different things. And they've tweeted out like, okay, I might have this. I just went in for the interview for this place. I can't say where it is yet. And I think sometimes that also has to do with they don't want to jinx themselves. They don't want to get ahead, but there's something that might be happening and I'm happy for it. I'll let you guys know if it goes well. I mean, they're to me, I know them, and to these developers, I think the world of them, and just as highly as I would of Cliffy B, but nobody else does. And I think I don't know. I guess I have a very casual way of thinking about it and seeing it.
yeah, it was interesting to see that. I mean, in terms of gaming, I've appreciated a lot of things that I've seen him do in gaming, and even the experiences that he brought us, right, as gamers. So I'm like, all right, it's not gaming related. Is it tech related? Because I would still be interested, right? Because that's what I like to talk about. That's what I like to hang out in as far as that particular environment. So if it's not that, will I still benefit from it as, you know, a content creator? Right. So those are questions that I have as it relates to that particular um not so news. So you have that. Next thing I have, I saw this thing was pretty interesting. This is in relation to Last of Us, and it's just a I put how to stay warm for the holidays. Like I really want to look at that on the on the big screen. I want to see what that looks like. But I thought it was really cool that this particular video for The Last of Us 2 is like what 2 hours, an hour
Yeah,
plus of
2 hours.
just flames. I thought that was pretty cool. This is pretty
Now, okay,
neat.
now look, that is cool. This is for people who don't have a fireplace like me, who throw things up on the TV to pretend that we do because I totally do this. So thank you for that.
It's so cool though. It's so cool just watching that. So we're gonna have a link in the show notes for that. It's a Last of Us 2 video of a car burning
But
for
but
2 hours.
but speaking of looping YouTube videos and stuff, did you see the
Yeah.
one for Terry Crews painting? Terry Crews.
No. No, you might have to link that to me. I didn't see that one.
That one, it was just like, I'm sure at one point he did do it live, but they just they took what he recorded and he looped it, and it's like he is such a talented man because he drew a really nice Christmas tree, this really nice painting. He brought out his best Bob Ross. That is Terry Crews, like that. He might
He
look,
actually did that.
yeah, he actually did it live.
Okay.
He
Cool,
actually
cool, cool,
painted it, so
cool. All
I
right.
can link that. But
All right.
like he looks like a big scary dude, and I'm sure he really could be, but he has like this beaming smile where like you're too much of a big teddy bear looking dude for me. It's like I don't care about your muscles,
Right.
but you ain't gonna hurt me. Look at you.
Right. Right, right,
But
right.
seeing him like paint this Christmas portrait, that was cool. It was really nice. I enjoyed it. I think I had it on loop, and I think I watched him do it 5 times.
Yes, definitely send me that. I definitely want to check that out. So, okay, so you have that. Okay, so that's really what I have in terms of some of the things that I was thinking about for this particular episode, episode 481. But as far as the year goes, like looking back, some of your moments of the year, things like that. Your year in review, Daniela. How was the year for you?
Um, yeah, it's up and down like any other year, but I feel like there was so much more. I don't know. It was a good year. Okay, we'll just go with that. It was a good year.
Okay, that's
I
good.
think I had more positives than negatives, so that was a nice balance.
That's great.
And there's so much more firsts that happened for me this year, so I'm even more excited for going into next year.
Okay.
Like in 2 months, I'm pretty sure we can apply for E3. So
Yeah, I think this year you might I may not apply this
what?
I mean, apply this year.
Don't do
Yeah.
that to me. No.
Yeah, it might be an interesting year for me in terms of I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Oh
I don't know
no.
yet. Oh, but it's still on the table. It's still on the table if I'm going to be able to. I mean, applying
Okay.
is one thing. Anybody can apply, right?
Mhm.
And there's the approval process, which has been great, and we're thankful for that. So I'll just say that immediately. But we'll see. We'll see. And it's definitely some conversation that I definitely want to have with you um, in regards to, you know, why that it may not be the case. May not be the case this
Okay.
year
Okay.
for me. but according to what you were saying before, it's been a fantastic year. It was an awesome, as it relates to E3. We got a chance to really experience that. It was really dope. Together. That was cool. And then just recording the episodes and just having a good time with that. I think there's always challenges, and I think the challenges become, um, am I growing as this is growing, right? Did I stop growing? Did I stop reading and studying and applying things that I could learn from myself to make sure that everything else is growing along with it? Because I felt like for me, as much reading as I believe I was doing, it wasn't enough, right. And I think that's where I'm at. So even right now, I'm reading Michelle Obama's book. I got Seth Godin's book, This Is Marketing, which is a book that I'm gonna dive into. So there's other books, Charlemagne's book, Shook Ones, which talks about mental illness. I want to dive into those things. So not really stopping the learning process is where I'm at right now. So yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about. So 2018 was great. 2018, as you mentioned, has had its ups and its downs as well. And there's some stuff that happened in December that I'm really excited about, just because of the experience that took place. And if it leads to something awesome, that's going to be great too. If it doesn't, that's okay. Like, I mean, I'll even mention now, like one of the things that took place was I did apply for that Google podcasting program. They said that they didn't pick us as finalists. That's fine. you know I could reapply in spring 2019. I mean, that everyone, no, no, let me scratch that. There's a lot of individuals who only celebrate the wins. They don't talk about their losses. To us, that's a minor L. It could have been a total L if I didn't apply, right? Because what if we because if you don't apply, it's an automatic no, right? But if you do apply, it's a percentage that they can actually appreciate what you applied for, and give you the opportunity. So I'm glad that we applied for that particular Google project or whatever with PRX and stuff. Didn't pan out, but there are some resources that came out of that I'm definitely going to send your way, that they suggested to look at and to help you be a better content creator and stuff like that. So there's that, and there's some other things that took place uh recently. So I'll just say that I didn't think I would be really really excited about, and it really was a different experience to me, because I found myself asking questions to the people who are behind the scenes, like the camera people, the microphone crew, and I'm like, well, why did you pick this particular DSLR? Why are you using this lapel and stuff like that? So I was in that environment to ask those questions in a studio recently, and I was really excited just to be there. So there's that. But as far as my main thing has been for 2018 is really identifying who are colleagues and who are really friends, right? Because there's so many different individuals that we run into, whether it's at events and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to who are colleagues and who are friends, I really know now who they are, right? And some of that is disappointing, because some individuals I really thought they were friends, but they're just people just passing through as associates and colleagues, and not necessarily individuals that are lifers. And I have to be okay with that, you know? And as far as like staying away from, social media negativity, I think that if I had to give myself a report this year, I think it was pretty good. I think I'll give myself a high B plus, you know? I didn't get caught up in any IG drama, social media drama, but I'll stop there. I mean, you got any additional thoughts?
I gotta marry you on that one. It just working through and figuring out who's a friend and who's not. Not that they're necessarily bad people, but everybody that comes into your life has a purpose or an intention. And sometimes you go in thinking it was for one thing and it's not. I totally see that. And I think that's just something that happens, that's going to continue to happen as life goes on. Like it's not just like, okay, it's a one and done and never happens to you ever again. But yeah, I mean, I learned quite a bit. I feel for myself, especially for December, just going through that experience. I have a very, I think when it comes to the death of like family or friends, you always look back and you reflect on things and you have an appreciation for things. I definitely had a different sort of appreciation for just like myself because like I said, I was shocked that I was so quick to want to do something. Like I am so proud of myself that I can be on that good people list and where I want to be active and I want to do something and I do care. Not that I didn't think I would care, but I don't ever want to be that person that's just like looking on and feeling helpless. Like I want to do that. But I don't know. I guess I'm proud of myself for this year. There's a lot of stuff I overcame and worked through and continue to work on. And I think it's just within human nature of always wanting to self improve and to never just settle and be okay with where you're at. I mean, if you're okay with where you're at and you want to stick with that, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's also nothing wrong with wanting to improve who you are, what you do, or learn something new. And that is something that I strive for every day. Like, I don't even know what I would do if all of a sudden I just didn't want to learn something. Like I'm the type that I love to dissect things around and figure out how something works or what I can do or how to improve it or, even if it's on my own personal work. And I hope like going into 2019 that there's a lot more people that you and I can collaborate with and work with or even individually that we both can do on our own. I look forward to that. I look forward to the unknown and I love that there is an unknown factor into that.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some question marks there to be excited about. Okay, so the other thing I want to mention is health. Please get checked out. Make it a point to get checked out. If you weren't good about that this year, call the doctors. Make an appointment. It's and there's okay. So there's the other side of it. Well, I'm not able to, right? Um, if there's a way, maybe apply, maybe for aid. If there's a way for you to get that assistance, please do that because that's important. Because this past Tuesday, I was in the doctor's office for blood work and stuff that if the blood work did not come back normal, I'd probably have surgery faster than I would need to have surgery, because I have to have surgery for something. I'm sharing it here because, I love the context here than just putting that stuff on social media. So I go to the doctor's office, they take blood work. They say, hey, if the blood work comes back that there may be alerts for potential cancer, then we're calling you in to have the surgery earlier. If the blood work comes back normal, then you're good to decide exactly when you want to have this particular surgery. The blood work came back normal. Thank God for that. So, we're in preparations on when would be the appropriate time to have the surgical procedure and stuff like that. So just get checked out. It's one thing to not be able to have the ability to get checked out because you're not covered for a particular insurance. But if you have insurance and you're just not going, fam, I just get checked out. My weight has been a particular thing for me the last 2 years because I went from 205 to 181 just by changing eating habits, basic things. No soda, no cereal, more water, regular juices, no apple juice, no orange juice, no eating out as much. cook more meals at home. Just basic things like that took most of that weight off of me, which I thought there was an issue, which is why I went for the original blood work. Turned out it was just the progress of, those things being removed from my body. And now I'm actually at a weight where, I don't know, I just feel like a new person. I had to change clothes, drop 2 sizes, all that, and I think that that's important too. Heading into the new year, if you're able to, just make a decision for you as far as your health is concerned.
Feel so personally called out. But no, I was gonna bring it up before you even said anything about that. Um, I do have health insurance, and I have to say, I think I have pretty good health insurance. But I am one of those terrible people in my generation that I only go to the doctors if I'm sick, if I absolutely have to. Like, the concept of just going to visit my doctor just because when I'm perfectly fine is a concept that's so foreign to me. It's like so weird because growing up, my I barely like my I think my mom struggled to have health insurance for her 5 kids. So we rarely went to the doctors, but we were also very rarely sick or had any issues. I think I don't know how this is going to come across, but hopefully it doesn't come off across as bad. I think we owe it to ourselves that if we are lucky enough to be able to have and afford health insurance, that we owe it to ourselves and to those that aren't as lucky to take advantage of something that we have, because you never know when you could lose something, and like you can have health insurance and think nothing of it. It's like, oh yeah, I have it, it's there, it's good, it's all the thing, until it's gone. And you think about like, oh, I could have gone to my doctors and it could have been proactive, about finding these issues, finding these health concerns. And now that I don't have it, like, you don't think about those things. So we are lucky enough to have it. Definitely make a better go of just scheduling it. Like, it doesn't even have to be a whole lot, like every 6 months, just a regular well checkup. I do it for my son. My son is like the number one person that I will never ever second guess taking to him. Like, every single chance I can take him to the doctor, I will. Even if he doesn't need to, I get him everything that he needs. He probably visits the doctors 5 times more than I do ever for anything, and because I care. I want to make sure he's taken care of and nothing bad happens. But for some reason, it's hard for me to translate that for myself personally. And I think that is definitely something going into 2019 and on forward that I should take advantage of and I should go and do. It's not like I'm getting younger by the day. One of these days, I'm going to have to deal with osteoporosis, and I don't even know what I have to do to
No,
prevent that, or if I
hopefully you
can.
don't have to
I
deal
don't
with no
know.
osteo or anything,
I don't know.
and yeah, just go. Please go. Can you go,
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Please. And I wasn't calling you out, but I'm glad you felt convicted about that.
Feel so
That's
personally
good.
attacked right now.
That's that's a good thing. I'm glad that worked out the way it did. But yeah, but that's the reality of some of the things going on. In real life. That's really what's going on. So of course we can't leave without talking about game of the year, right? We can't. We just can't.
No, we
Um,
can't.
and
Okay, well,
my
before we go into this, because we didn't get to
okay.
record, we were supposed to record for the Game Awards, except that I was making best friends with my toilet, and we were
How
sharing
did that
meals.
go?
We were sharing meals.
How did that go?
It was really bad, and I wish we did, but I just want to say, like, I so feel that there should be a cutoff for the games that are allowed it to be, um I
Submitted?
guess, nominated and submitted, because okay, Red Dead Redemption, yes, it is a good game, super
Right.
popular, but that game literally just came out a few weeks before. Why is it being nominated? Why they should cut off games for like the last quarter of the year and it's included into the next game awards. I think that's fair for all the other games that came before it and are just as good. That's it. That's all I have to say about that
Mm,
one.
okay. It's an interesting conversation because it's still within the year. It's still leading in up to the time that its release was at the week of the 6th for the Game Awards, if I remember correctly. And then it's user submitted, right, for the votes.
It's a little bit of the judges
It's a
and
mix,
that
right?
rent it. It's a mix of them.
Okay. So I think, I mean, it's kind of a loose criteria, but it's still within the year. Because if they didn't talk about Red Dead Redemption in 2018, you'd want to hear it in 2019
Well, yeah, because they would have gone through, a year.
from December to December. You'd rather
Yes.
December to December instead of, you know, when it was it October, November release? When did it come out? I don't
I don't.
remember.
Well, I would rather have it been out for a while before it got nominated. I feel like that cutoff date because Red Dead Redemption literally came out like less than a month after or before. So how can it win all these awards already? Like it shouldn't have been nominated. So
Mm,
many, and
mm,
I feel like so many of the top categories there had the same games in it. Although I was super impressed and super amazed that an indie title game was among the triple A titles, which like Celeste. Celeste was up there.
Celeste was doing it.
That was a surprise, and I was shocked, and I was super happy for it. But
Yeah.
I don't know, just so many of the same games for the like it was like pretty much it's a guaranteed three of those five nominees were the same
Hmm.
AAA titles that were found in all the other categories.
Were you agree, were you in agreement with Game of the Year?
Mm, I guess. I guess.
Fair enough. It's a monster. That one is a monster. That one is, it's big deal. It's a big one.
Like, what did you think?
Okay, so overall, I think the show was great. I really enjoyed the show. I didn't realize how much I love, if you want to call it, live performances, like the orchestra type stuff.
Oh
Like,
no, the
uh,
Devil May Cry one was terrible.
yeah, I'm just speaking in general. I'm just speaking in general.
Okay.
Like the orchestra performance stuff. I realize that I like it more than I want to admit. Okay, apparently that's my thing. So I enjoyed those performances. I enjoyed the show. I didn't play God of War, but God of War is a masterpiece, for sure. The soundtrack is amazing, and everything that they did with that particular game. And there were other games too. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, as you mentioned, Celeste, Red Dead Redemption, of course, the ongoing games, the Fortnites, the Destinies, and all those games. Call of Duty did their thing also with Blackout. So there's other things, but and God of War was dope.
Yeah, I might have some feelings about it, but I think of those that were nominated, God of War definitely was more deserving.
Yeah, it was definitely dope. So having said that, what is your game of the year?
Something that surprises me that I love the replay value of it, and it's actually a genre I don't really care for, but I loved, surprisingly. Dead Cells.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
that would be my game of the
That's interesting. I didn't expect that.
year. Because like when I really sat on it, I had to really remember what games that I played this year that came out this year. Because I also played games that came out like last year, the last couple of years. Um, but the one that I like the replay value of, I love the music, I love the action, I love the challenge of it all. Is Dead Cells. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, all right. So my game of the year that I believe came out this year is an RPG game that was my first introduction to the series, and it's Yakuza 6.
I thought I was like, what game were you talking about before this? And I couldn't even think about it. And I completely forgot
Yeah.
that you went through the series and how much you talked about it.
Yeah. That was it. That was it. Yakuza did it for me. I was like, wow. Cause it reminds me so much of Shenmue, and it's almost like, and I think it's a disrespectful thing to say, what I'm getting ready to say, that it's not a placeholder for Shenmue, right? Because the game is so amazing. The storyline, the characters are so fledged out, and I was surprised of, even for this particular game, I believe that's the one that ends that particular series, because the next game is called Judgment, and I already see people streaming that on Twitch because it's available to the the Eastern world and not necessarily to us yet. And that looks really good. So I just fell in love with that whole environment because of how much it reminded me of games like Shenmue and Shenmue 2.
That's
So
a good
yeah,
choice.
Yakuza, definitely, definitely those stuff. Yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I mean, I'm really really happy of the games we played this year, what we got to experience. Biggest lesson you learned this year before we close out?
Mm, biggest lesson I learned. Group projects, group endeavors, group anything to put in only as much work as the rest of the team will. I found myself getting to the point where I was putting more effort, more thought, more work um, into the projects, and seeing where everybody else was and everybody else is concerned was not really up there. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I stressing myself out for this? Why am I putting this much effort if, I feel like I'm the only one that has the passion for it? Like, I'm better off
Mm,
just like, I'll just do it by myself. That was my lesson is. And it's funny because I think it was Danny Pena. Long, long, long time ago. He told me, do not work with lazy people.
mm,
I'm listening now. Took me a year,
mm.
but I'm listening.
Interesting. Okay. Okay, fair enough. For me, you you don't know what people are going through. I mean, that was a whole, like, as I was having conversations with people who are so out on social doing this and doing that, and I'm able to have certain conversations with them about their lives, and then watch how people treat them in the public eye. You have no idea, and nobody knows, right? And I think that so for me, that allows me to be a little bit more, compassionate about, challenges, a little bit more understanding of, certain conversations, and just be more human. So yeah, you don't know what people are going through. Try not to judge. It's easy to judge.
Oh, it's super easy to judge. Ugh,
Try not to
you
judge.
gotta go in with a blank slate on things, on people and situations.
Yeah.
Open mind, open heart.
Yeah,
Which
and that's all I have.
I have one more thing. Okay, so it's not quite the biggest lesson learned yet because I'm still learning it. So maybe it'll be the biggest lesson I learned next year. But something that I'm currently learning about myself now. is I feel like I'm relearning the importance of embracing my culture
Mm,
and
okay.
understanding what that value or how much that value means to me. Something I didn't know and I feel like I kind of took for granted in a way.
How
So,
how so?
well, living in Hawaii, I am surrounded by the people in the same culture as I am, by Asian Americans, um, and I never really think about it. I don't think of myself as being different or feeling different. I feel like because I've had the luxury and the pleasure of living in such a culturally diverse state that I don't feel like personally I've been discriminated against, and that is very much a privilege to have that. Um, but it's not about discrimination. It's just about understanding the value of that difference. Because if I go to any other state, I'm not gonna have that luxury. If I go to California, I'm not gonna be able to find as flourishing of an Asian American community as I probably do here. Are there do they exist? Yes, 100%. I know where they are because that's where my family is. But it's in with like this it's within a city, it's within a pocket, it's within this small little community. Whereas right now I have an entire state. Um but I didn't realize how much it meant to me to want to work with other fellow Asian Americans and how much being able to show that to my son, because my son is mixed. He's half Caucasian, he's half Asian American, but um because he has that mix and because he doesn't see that difference, he he doesn't understand. This might be a very political statement. He doesn't understand the difference between his white privilege and the limited privileges that he has on his Asian culture side. So to be able to show him that, you know, that there is a difference, there is a discrimination, there is less chances, there's less opportunities, but I want to be able to show him that, you know, we can work within the communities that fall under Asians, whether regardless it be Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Indian, or whatever it is, and create amazing work and put out this positive message. And I'm just learning that whole value of that I don't think I took into appreciation or acknowledged as much before, because it's just something I wasn't really raised to see the difference in. And I've mentioned that before, like even being raised as a kid, like we were never raised to see skin color as anything, which is, I think everybody should be raised that way. Like you don't see somebody for their skin color or what their ethnicity is.
Hmm.
And so that's why I've never ever looked at it. But now just seeing all these works, like I want to work with like other Asians. I do want to work with also Caucasians and African Americans and any other cultures, but I realize that most of my work I have never ever collaborated with somebody of an Asian culture ever.
So what triggered that? Because if I remember correctly, you mentioned that on Twitter maybe a couple of,
Yeah,
or something
I
like
did.
that.
I did. What triggered that was being inspired by, okay, so the POC, which I think you're part of now, the Cookout fam, right? We're both in there.
Right.
It is so incredibly inspiring to see, um, which majority of them is African Americans, them working together and collaborating, put out the work. And granted, the Cookout, the POC is inclusive to all people of color, but it's just inspiring to see that. But even within that community, there's very little Asians that I've noticed that are in there. And I know there's got to be somewhere. Like, I want to work with all of them, but I also just, like, I think it's great that they all come together to do things. Um, as a community, to do things as teams, to come and rally for somebody else and support. I want to be a part of that, but I also want to be a part of something that is just tailored to just the Asian community.
Okay.
So it's that inspiration of wanting that.
Okay.
So that is a lesson I'm slowly learning, and hopefully maybe my answer will somehow come to me next year.
Did
At
you
some
reach
point.
Chataminji?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
so a
Cool.
whole other thing going into this next year.
That's yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope. That is really dope. All right.
For a
Okay,
short
this
episode,
was
we didn't
for
break
a
the
short
2 hour.
episode.
We didn't break the 2 hour mark, but we went deep on
The-
everything. This is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
one way to end the year.
I like this format. This format might work a little bit better in terms of yeah, having different conversations instead of just headlines. But yeah, I mean that's all I have for episode 481. It's been a pleasure to collaborate with you and work with you throughout the year, throughout the episodes, throughout the cons, and I think that I am spoiled to have you as a co-host and team member, friend. So I pray that you have a great Christmas with your family and all that good stuff. And I get sad when we don't record. I'm just keeping it real since I can air this out since this is the last episode. I'm excited when we do record. I look forward to having those conversations with you and finding reason not to bug you throughout the week.
You can
Those
bug
things.
me
So,
whenever.
nah, I'm not gonna do that. I could, but I want to make sure that it's not just show stuff all the time. I definitely have to just you don't hear from me for a while, so you do what you have to do with your family too. So, um, yeah, because we talked about that.
Did.
We talked about that. So I really want to make sure that we are no, not we. I honor that because I want to make sure that we're doing that. But yeah, love you very much.
Love you
And that's all I
too.
got. That's all I got.
I'm excited going into 2019 with you.
I'm excited too.
I can picture a better friend, co-host, colleague to go into 2019 with. So,
Oh,
yay,
love it.
yay. But just quickly to answer Ruru, ever look up segregation in schools in the U.S.? Yes, yes. I very, very much know segregation in schools and discrimination and everything like that going into the greater portion of the U.S. is a very huge thing. This is why I said that I'm very lucky to live in the state that I live in now, in which I don't think any of my friends were ever raised, not just me, but my friends who live here locally were ever raised to discriminate anybody for anything, because we are literally all immigrants in the US. All of us. So we have a very huge appreciation for those who came over, whether they came over by boat, plane, canoe, whatever it is. Crossing the border from Canada, Mexico, whatever it may be, we have appreciation for it. And sadly, that's not the era that we currently live in, and maybe one day we will. Just that's always that hope for one day. Yes. 2019. Here we go. But thanks for tuning into our podcast. You missed our live show, join our Discord where you can leave questions and be a part of our community. Head over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app and subscribe, rate, and review our show. For our show notes, visit theshowradio.info, and thanks for tuning in, and see you on the next one.